this. There we go. Okay. Skull Merchant design preview. Let's see what we're getting into. Today, we want to dig into a topic that we know many of you have been yearning to know more about, our vision for the future of the Skull Merchant. We know that the Skull Merchant is a divisive killer who, regardless of her performance in a trial, carries a lot of history and strong feelings among players. Many players feel she's not fun to play against, and her kit is exceedingly complex. This scares away potential killers from trying her and makes it difficult for survivors to consider counterplay without dedicated research. As we look to reworking her, our aim is to strike a balance between being fun as and against. Hi, silly little goose. Welcome in. Welcome in. We're looking at Skull Merchant changes, just like a little preview. Preserve the intel focus of her kit while making it intuitive to understand. And move away from a passive power with limited player interactions and embrace a more active playstyle while ensuring her power is compensated in interesting ways. Those last 2 points may be particularly difficult for longtime Skull Merchant mains, but we feel it's important to be clear about our intentions here. While the future we envision for Skull Merchant is quite different from her previous iterations, we feel this rework brings some exciting new tools of Torment to the table. Drones 2.0. Skull Merchant can deploy a stealth drone. She carries 5, which scans its immediate vicinity and provides intel back to her. After a short activation period, the drone gives off subtle audio and visual indications of the area being scanned, revealing any survivors on the radar who are caught by its 2 rotating detection zones. So it's going back to 2, and it will reveal the survivors. The MS Paint is crazy. They couldn't go, hey, art department, can you just do a little quick something? Like, oh, or maybe this is the art department. Importantly, we've slowed the rotation speed slightly and toned down the visual intensity of these zones, removing the large scan lines to replace them with something more subtle. Namely, you'll see the direction of each detection zone as they rotate, but the detection zone itself is invisible. So you'll see the detection zone spin, but it is invisible. Okay, I think I kind of get it. I use MS Paint whenever I go AFK while streaming. LOL. This gives survivors an impression of the space that's being actively scanned, but require them to proceed cautiously. While we know they had their supporters, the original scan lines were visually loud and often clashed with the rest of the game's look and feel. The intent here is not this. Oh my god. This is ridiculous. Oh my god. The intent here is to strike a balance between giving survivors just enough info to assess the threat, a subtle rotating filter detection, without that threat overwhelming the space and feeling incongruous to Dead by Daylight's visual identity. Once a stealth drone has been active for a short period, Skull Merchant can choose to take control of drones from a distance. During this time, she becomes undetectable as her controlled drone becomes the primary threat. These stealth drones move slightly faster than her base movement speed and consume a new resource, power, unique to each drone while being controlled. Power is consumed slowly as the continued drone idles, and slightly more is consumed while moving. Power is consumed slowly as the controlled drone idles, and slightly more is consumed while moving, okay? Skull Merchant is also able to use a burst of this power to activate drone propulsion. This charged power sends the drone flying forward at a high speed relative to how long it was charged. Is it literally going to be like, oh, the drone hits the people and then that is the injury? Hitting a survivor with drone propulsion causes them to lose a health state. We are hitting survivors in the head with the drones now. A second drone has hit the survivor. Yes, Gia. A second. So it's like Victor, but it's a flying drone. It better have drone physics. It better have drone physics. Oh yeah, drone attack. Is this a war crime? Is this in the Geneva Conventions? Is this allowed? With these new stealth drones, we want to give players something that feels familiar. Using drones to gather intel, but also opens the door for unique skill expression by hitting the survivors in the fucking head. Okay. Repositioning drones and propulsion skill shots. I guess repositioning is kind of fun. But so what? She's going to be like the twins? Like she's going to be like Charlotte? Like she just kind of like is looking at her phone while moving these drones and like a survivor can just stand there and watch her? Like, is that what's happening? Using technology to hunt or prey is core to Skull Merchant's identity, and so it's important that we stay true to that. We have opted to remove many of the background effects, hindered, haste, lock on, crouch, claw trap. I'll give them claps for that. That were previously tied to these drones. So, rather than doing a little bit of everything with our drones under layers of complexity, we want their use cases to be clear to killers and survivors alike on the fly. Basically, if they're static, they're like scanning for survivors. If they're moving, they're a collision hazard. When they hit the survivor, do they explode? Are they gone? Like when that happens, they are gone? Or does it just stand there after it hits you in the head and you can like just stare at it while it laughs at you? The Skull Merchant main, these are very questionable. I need to see it in action, but you know, they made choices. Drone hacking. Like drones themselves, drone hacking returns with a greater degree of risk and reward. To be honest, this sounds pretty good so far. We will have to see to change it. Yeah, I don't know. I think it might be a little complex for the killer. I'm interested to see how the transition from her controlling the drone is. Like, is it going to be her like picking up her phone, and then like on her like you see like the screen becomes the phone screen, and it's just her flying the drone? Drone hacking returns with a greater degree of risk and reward. Like before, drones can be disabled by survivors by inputting a series of button presses while close. If a drone is disabled, Skull Merchant's aura is revealed to that survivor. If a drone is disabled, Skull Merchant's aura is revealed to that survivor. Okay. Providing useful intel. If the hack is failed, they are revealed by Killer Instinct and are prevented from attempting another hack for a short period. Okay, I'm fine with that. Yeah, the effects being removed are big. I still don't like her having stealth. Oh, wait, the undetectable is because she's controlling the drone. So she becomes Charlotte, and the drone is like a victor. Okay. Gonna wonder how this plays out. Yeah, that will be the biggest thing, I think. I'm picturing a huntress with drones as hatchets kind of thing. Yeah. The intention here is to introduce a greater degree of tension to hacking while offering a clear way for survivors to interact with Skull Merchant's kit in a meaningful way. The intel reward is greater than before. I do think that that's good and that it doesn't injure. But, like, I wonder if when you're hacking, if she takes control, it ends the hack and then she can just headbutt you with it. You know, that kind of thing. Red light, green light. In addition to her drone, Skull Merchant has another power that ties into her radar. While the name is currently TBD, let's refer to it as a global detection power. Once this power is charged and activated, a global warning plays for all survivors. Please sound like a nuke dropping in Call of Duty. Please. That would just be amazing. For a short period afterwards, any survivor who actively sprints is revealed on her radar. Of course, crouching, standing still, and hiding in lockers all prevent detection. Added. It says crouching, standing still, and hiding, but is walking okay? Because it says sprinting, but it doesn't say walking here. So that's a question. Added to the intel provided by stealth drones around the map, this should help ensure killers are easily able to keep tabs on survivors' movements. So that is probably going to charge up like Nightfall on the Dredge, maybe? I guess. That's kind of what it sounds like. We are currently evaluating a timeline for Skull Merchant's rework, but do envision it being quite far out as our primary focus on driving quality of life. Yeah, they said they said second half of 2025. I feel like it's gonna be around Christmas. I feel like it's gonna be the mid chapter between the fall killer and the winter killer. The power makes me think that the drones are not gonna be able to be set up to lock down an area or a loop. Yeah, that's true. It just gives you intel in that area, but she could set it up on one part of a loop. I'm thinking like a jungle gym. So, you know, let me pull up paint. I'm thinking like in a jungle gym scenario, so that wider. I don't use paint. That's better. So you know you have a palette here. You have the palette there. You know it's one of these. Wind window here. You know one of these loops, whatever it is, whatever it looks like. Um, so like she's gonna be. So the survivor's gonna be over here, and they're like, okay, I'm running. I cannot draw with a mouse. I'm so sorry. The survivor's like, okay, I'm gonna be over here. Why are they doing a split? They're gonna be over here. So I think what you can do with it is the survivor will have ran through the palette. They're on this side. She's maybe like right over here, and she will say like, okay, if you're gonna go that way, I know that you're probably gonna keep going this way. I'll just set up a little drone here. And then once I go this way and you're again closer to like here, maybe I can take control of the drone and slam it into you. Or she could leave it there and get intel on where they are. I'm assuming it's still going to be that typical radar, like the little block. Battery will die over time. Well, it said it has to charge up. So I think you have to leave it there for a little bit and the battery charges. And then you can fly it around. We'll look back at it. Power makes me think that the drones are not going to be able to be set up to lock down. Yes. To be fair, it's a drone, so that kind of makes sense. Yeah. Where was it? Drone control. Once a stealth drone has been active for a short period, Skull Merchant can take control of the drone from a distance. During this time, she becomes undetectable as her control drone becomes the primary threat. These stealth drones move slightly faster than the base move speed and consume a new resource, power, unique to each drone. Power is consumed slowly as the controlled drone idles, and slightly more is consumed. Oh, okay, yeah. So the power does go down after you place it, but it goes down slowly. And then when you're controlling it, it goes down a lot faster. Got you. You also use a burst of the power to activate drone propulsion. I wonder if like there's a point where it's so low that you can't even do the headbutt attack. I'm just calling it headbutt. This way it kind of makes more sense for her than the 3-gen. Yeah. I mean, the more I'm thinking about it, the more I'm not mad at it. I just need to see it in play. I just think I would be so pissed if I'm on a gen and a drone just flies in and then headbutts me and I lose a health state. I think I'd just be so pissed, honestly. Also, is the drone going to be stealth? Like, I mean, you'll hear it probably flying. You'll probably have like a stereotypical drone sound. Or will it have her terror radius, but maybe it's like literally like 8 meters, like it's really small? Is it going to have a drag like Oni's power? Is it going to be more very like can it immediately do a right turn? A lot of questions. It's interesting. It's definitely not what I thought they were going to do with it, which I'm happy about because I thought they were going to kind of ruin it. Because like I said, the Freddy rework, I didn't think it was too game changing for him. But there's going to be massive add-on. Oh, yeah. I'm just happy that her stealth is gone. I hated the stealth. I had no idea why she was stealthy. Does that make sense? Drone flick montage. 360 no scope with my drones. Like, this is weird choices. Weird choices all around. I'm happy about them. I'm happy they are giving her changes that seem interesting. Coming right up. Okay. I think I need to let that marinate for a little bit. Because it is a little interesting. So we'll let it marinate by playing Michael Myers.